as Mrs. Evans said, happy Valentine's Day. This is really the most romantic way I could think of spending today. So I'm really glad you're all here. We're not going to do a concert in the traditional sense. We're going to give you kind of a walk through our first 4 months of doing this. If you've ever taught anybody anything, you're going to recognize a lot of the thinking that we use for picking these songs. There's no theme except everything we do makes us better at playing. And it all tries to teach us something. So I'm just going to kind of give you a little heads up about what we decided and how we came to all these decisions. And these, when I say we, I'm talking about 20, 25 years of Brighton teachers who have gotten us to where we are right now. So the first thing you probably remember back when we were trying out instruments and we had no idea what we were going to play, and we went through about 3 weeks of trying instruments and deciding, and we got to our first lesson. After you, thank you, got the instruments and got them there, we were just trying to not break the instrument the first time we opened that case. So we have come a really long way. So I want to kind of show you we're going to show you what it sounded like on that first day. So the flutes didn't just put the whole thing together and start playing. The first thing we did was we just used the head joint. Kids, can you show your head joints to everybody? Yeah, that's how much of the flute we were using in that first lesson. We had to make sure that it was properly placed. We had the right kind of bottle blowing lips, which we're going to call that embouchure, which is the shape of your mouth and your lips and your tongue. And once we got everything just right, all of a sudden this beautiful sound came out. So we're going to show you what that beautiful sound is. Ready? 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2. Fantastic. Okay, that's the flute. Our next instrument down in our music score is the clarinet. With the clarinet, we have a lot of pieces. So we're going to hold that up and show that to the audience. It's got, you can see the silver part, that's a ligature. There's the wooden part, which clarinet parents, you know what those are, because you got to keep buying those reeds. And saxophone parents too. Just putting that on could take most of a lesson, getting it in just the right spot, and then getting it in our mouth, making sure that we're covering up and doing all the right things. It takes us a while, so by the end of that first lesson with our mouthpiece and our barrel and our ligature and our reed, it sounds a little bit like this. Ready, clarinets? 1, 2, ready, go. That's what our reed sounded like that first week, right, Mr. Dozer? All right, next after that is our saxophones. They have a really similar looking mouthpiece, but they put it on the neck of the saxophone and it sounds a lot different. So saxophones, let's show them our mouthpiece and neck. Fantastic. Okay, now we're going to show them what it sounds like. 1, 2, ready, go. And in a couple weeks we'll hear the geese coming back, and just remember that sound. All right, next up is our trumpets. The trumpets have a brass mouthpiece, and they don't actually make their sound with anything but their actual lips. So we have to buzz without the mouthpiece, and then we have to put the mouthpiece in front of it. So that takes some time. We have to not puff our cheeks, and this is what it sounds like by the end of that first lesson. 1, 2, ready, go. Thank you. I promised that there would be some giggles. All right, one of our smallest and mightiest sections is our French horn section. So they have a similarly sized mouthpiece, but it's just a different shape inside. You're going to hear a really different tone quality to it. Ready? Horns? 1. Yep, show it to everybody. There you go. Now let's play it. 1, 2, ready, go. Yeah, awesome. And back a little bit further, we have our trombones and baritones. They actually use the exact same mouthpiece, but it's about twice the size of either of those mouthpieces, so it sounds lower. Ready, trombones, baritones? 1, 2, ready, go. All right. Our lowest sound and our biggest mouthpiece is the tuba mouthpiece. Show them off. Yeah, you can see them all the way from the back. All right. Biggest means lowest. 1, 2, ready, go. Yeah. And our last group is the percussion section. They don't have anything to work out with their embouchure or anything, so, and we also have our general music class that gives us a little head start, so we can actually get quite a bit further in that first lesson. So we're gonna play our whole B flat scale, which we did do in our first lesson. Ready? 1, 2, ready, go. All right, by the time we got done with that, and we did finally, sometimes in the second lesson, sometimes in the first lesson, sometimes in the third lesson, got everything fully assembled, we had the whole instrument put back together. We didn't even start in on reading the paper, and we learned our first 3-note songs, and the first one of those that we learned is Hot Cross Buns, so we're gonna start with that song. There's a couple other songs that we learned that are 3-note songs. One of them is Mary Had a Little Lamb. The other one is Au Clair de la Lune. Right after that, we get into reading, and one of the first things we do is we learn a song called Mary Had a Cool Lamb, which is the one that we're going to do in the concert, where we introduce a quarter rest. Hold on just a second. So, we don't really talk about resting, because we really don't rest. We never rest until we're done with the concert. So instead of that, we actually give them something that they can do. So instead of that, we actually teach them to do something when they see a quarter rest. So kids, what do we do when we see a quarter rest?
Take a breath!
Exactly. We take a breath. So we're going to play you Mary Had a Cool Lamb. Right after that, we jam 2 more notes right at them, almost back to back. They're on the same page, which is kind of crazy. So one lesson gets a little bit hairy, and we get to a 5-note scale. So we learned this song called Scaling the Wall, very, very punny. And we also introduced the repeat sign, so we have to go back and repeat it without any break in it, so you're going to hear it 2 times, but it's only going to be 1 song. So this is Scaling the Wall. Next up, we go right into the classics. Ode to Joy, you might have heard of it. Beethoven, you might have heard of him. But in the book, they give it all in quarter notes and half notes, but we actually give them the real version-ish with dotted quarter notes and single 8 notes, because we know they can do it, right? Yeah. You got it. So we're going to play you Ode to Joy. after that, we had one more song, one more note to the top of that, and we're on to Old MacDonald, which has our highest note so far. And we also have 2 lines of music, so we have to get from one line to the next line seamlessly, which seems like, sure, why not? But then you see somebody learning how to do that for the first time, and you realize that it's actually a thing. So we're gonna play you Old MacDonald next. Okay, then we add one more note to the bottom. So we have a new lowest note, and we don't play Jaws because that's copyrighted, and John Williams is a genius and he should get paid if we played Jaws. So we're not playing Jaws, we're playing Shark. This one, we have a cluster note where kids get to pick their own note, and there's all kinds of good stuff in it. So there's a whole bunch of concepts in this one. As much as it seems like a really simple tune, it gives them a whole bunch of new stuff to pay attention to. This is Shark. If any of you are headed to Florida or anywhere with water, we apologize. Our next song is a total change in tone. So we're gonna do. We have one of our clarinet players is calling this the dollar store version of Twinkle Twinkle. So this is called Star Search, which you might know as the ABC song or Baba Black Sheep or Twinkle Twinkle. It's kind of all of them. Our next song is London Bridge. This one, we've got this is more about half notes and trying to fill up with sound and using up more of our space with sound instead of silence so that we sound more mature. So this one is London Bridge. All right, you might remember learning Shoe Fly in your general music class as a kid. I know I remember learning it from Mr. Townsend when I was in 2nd grade and 3rd grade. Couple things that are a little bit uncommon in this song is that we have a quarter note and a half note, and that's not as common as having half notes in the first half, so we end up going 1, 2, 3, 4, which is called syncopation. That's something we learn in our general music classes from about 2nd grade on, and we just bring it right over into this class. And also we get to play our lowest note in this song that we learned for sharp. So we get to play our lowest note, and we get to do syncopation in shoe fly. Okay, we are up to Rain Rain Go Away. Every song we've done so far has been in 4 beats per measure, with the quarter note being the beat. We're going to keep the quarter note the beat, but we're changing it to 2 beats in each measure, so we're in 2/4. Looks like a fraction, but it's actually 2 pieces of information. We've gotten that in general music class, and we're going to bring it over to this one. So this one's going to go by really quick, so keep your ears tuned. Okay, we're gonna get really fancy now. We're gonna do a round. So we have kids who are group A's. A's, raise your hand. B's, C's, and D's. So all these different kids are gonna start at different times, but we're all gonna play the entire song. So you're gonna hear the song you know kind of starting before you or starting after you, and you have to stay true, and you have to stay brave, and keep doing your own thing. So this is really pretty complicated, and these kids are doing a great job with it. So we're gonna do Frere Jacques. All right, I am looking at my list of thank yous, and it feels like it's going to be longer than some of the songs, so I do apologize for that, but there are so many people to thank. First, I want to thank the Board of Education and Dr. McGowan for all the support that we get over and over and over again, and directly for the FRES administration, Mrs. Evans, who is always a rock star, and Ms. Flores. I also want to thank Dr. Glazer, our Director of Visual and Performing Arts, and the VPA Secretary, Charlotte Kimberly Haig. They do so many behind-the-scenes things that I just can't even go into all of it, especially this year in their first year as a team. They've just been killing it. Jack Whitmer, Eric Gruner, and Seth Katzman, they made sure that you can watch this if you're not here, that you can see it and you can hear it. So their crews made it possible, especially some of my students who are back there who I had before, and some of my students who I see right here. I want to thank you. I want to thank the Fight for Brighton advocacy group, who really helped raising awareness within New York State. They got some of our funding renewed and things like that. We appreciate them and all the things that they've done for the kids in Brighton and for just for the school in general. And absolutely cannot thank our custodial staff of Kevin Rollins and Nate Christensen. They get this stuff all set up. You're sitting in those seats because they were here. Those bleachers are out because they are here, and we're clean and safe because they are here. So they're just the best. I know we have some of our fourth grade teachers here tonight and some at home watching, so I want to thank you. They give their students up for their lessons and they make sure they get to us when they're supposed to be here, and we just have a really good relationship with them, and I want to thank them, and I'm sure the kids want to thank them for all the things they do. Right? And most of our FRES music team is here tonight, and I want to thank them, and thank you for all of them. Most of them are here, like I said. They've been great. It's awesome to work as a team like we do, because we are right there together. Even if we're in a different room, we're always pulling the same direction. So, and the rest of our department, we have a really good bunch of people, and many of them are here tonight, even though they have probably somewhere else they could be too. And then you made sure that they decided to do this, because we know it's a decision that you make. You made sure they had an instrument to play. You make sure that that instrument gets to and from school, and you help them remember when it's time to practice. So thank you for that. I do want to say that, and I did promise the kids that I would say this because it is really true, ice cream never tastes better than the night of a concert. I just want to make sure you know that. It's really delicious on concert nights. All right, we will have another concert in June. We don't have anything before February break, so the instruments can all go home and they can be safe there. If we can practice over break, great. If you're going somewhere, we'll just pick it right back up after, and we'll start getting ready for what we've got coming up. So our last song is Hard Rock Blues. None of the kids like this one at all. All right, thank you so much. What we're gonna do is the kids who have their cases would be our clarinet players and our flute players. Parents, you might want to just stay right where you are, because they're going to be packed and out and about, 2 or 3 minutes, maybe 4 minutes. The kids who have a case to bring that's back in the band room, in the IM room, you might want to make your way partway down the hall, and they'll kind of meet you somewhere. But if you have a specific plan you made ahead of time, stick with that. So this is Hard Rock Blues, and we want to thank you so much, and have a wonderful break and a great rest of your Valentine's Day. Ready.